Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got the 2016 Honda. It's the Accord. No low beams. That's what the customer tells me. High beams work fine. Low beams don't work. Apparently they've checked the bulbs, so hopefully that's not something that simple. We've shown that on our channel before when it's literally that simple. Hopefully it's not. They had it at another shop, so again, hopefully it's not just, simple bulbs. She said all the other lights seem to work, turn signals, marker lights, all that. The customer tried replacing the switch itself to no avail. And I don't know if it was just an off-the-cuff statement from the lady, but she said Honda wanted about $5,000 to fix it. So I don't know what that means, but let's check it out. Let's verify it. Let's see what the headlight system's made of. Probably 13 different computers, but we'll figure it out and see what this thing's gonna need to make it work again. Right now I'm just key on. It looks like we've got some kind of halo. I got the headlights turned into the off position, so we shouldn't have anything back here. Let's do a preliminary. I don't see anything in the back here as far as marker lights. So we'll reach in, we'll turn on just the marker lights for now. See what we have there. We have marker lights, we have plate lights, markers all the way around. Got one outer marker there and one outer marker there. Okay, so we'll go to the next position, which is, that's auto. We'll skip auto, we'll go right to headlights. And you can see by the reflection we have nothing there, but it appears the marker light stayed on. All right, let's go flick them on the high beams there. So there's the high beams. And those are your inner bulbs. Appear to be just a standard halogen. Marker light stayed on, fog lights turned off, of course. So go back to there. We should be able to turn the fog lights on and off. Oh, interesting. Oops. Headlights, there we go. Yeah, so we can turn the fog lights on and off. And they turn on and off with the high beams. Okay, so it appears that the lady is correct. She has no low beams. And now you know what I know. Before we take it to the stupid level, let's see if we can just get to a connector that's easy. Looks like there's a connector hanging over here on this side. Let's grab a flashlight. This one probably doesn't work because it's not plugged in, so that one's not plugged in. And let's see, what was it? It was the outer bulb. This one over here is plugged in. Okay. Well, let's use this right here to figure out what we have and what we don't have. We know that the inner high beam works, so let's make sure the headlight is on. Let's see, this one's already unplugged. Let's see, are we missing power or missing ground? Okay, headlights are on. That's the ground side. That's, okay, both of them show up as a ground side. We'd have to look at a wiring diagram to verify why that is. That is kind of curious. I'm gonna turn the headlights to the off position, see if anything changes here. Not the best tool to be using for this job, but I thought we might have to power up the headlight bulb. Okay, both of them still show up that way. Let's do this. Let's grab a test light, which is what we should have done in the beginning. We're gonna we want to supply it with power. Not the best way to do that either. The battery's right here. Let's clamp onto some battery voltage if we can. Okay, so we're hooked onto battery voltage. Anything that we touch that is a ground that can carry a little bit of current will light up. And they both light up. That's what the headlights switch off. So that's kind of curious. Let's unplug the other headlight here. What we ought to do is get a wire diagram actually, but I'm just going to unplug the headlight here on the passenger or driver's side, see if that changes anything in our readings, which it may, depending on how they're wired. Come on. This one's a little bit more difficult to get to. Bear with me, folks. It's amateur hour. Okay, both sides are unplugged. So let's see if anything has changed. Okay, so that's a good sign. Let's see. So we have power on one side now. That tells me that circuit's complete. These must be hooked together for sure, not independently fused. Okay, so theoretically, if we plug that in, apply power here, that bulb should light up. We were just seeing the circuit complete. And we know we have a good ground. Well, good enough to light this, this little test light of mine. I plugged that driver's side back in. I'm gonna test my theory. It should prove what we need to prove. I'm just gonna apply power to this side. Yeah, there we go. And that headlight turns on, so. Okay, that's what we know. At this point, we need to get a wiring diagram, but we did learn some stuff. We know some things now. Got a couple minutes into it. Let's see what this thing's made of and what it takes to actually turn them on for real. I put on the glasses, printed out the diagram, and looked at the circuit as simply as possible. So here's the right headlamp. Here's where we're at. And it is brown and black, so we confirm the colors. But where does that power come from? Because we know that's what we're missing. So I follow it back. It goes up to the underhood fuse box. It goes through fuse 24, and then back to a headlight relay. And that relay gets its power from fuse 12-6. Should we go and check that fuse and that fuse? We should check both fuses, right? Wrong. We know that actually they both work because we did that simple test. We applied power to the brown wire and the left headlamp lit up. How is that possible? The only way that's possible is if current flows through this wire, through this fuse, which must be good, back around, up and around, through this fuse, which must be good, and then around and lit the left headlamp. So we know just from our simple check under the hood that you thought was silly, wasn't, because we know that that all of this wiring is good. The grounds are good, the wire's good, everybody's good, the fuses are good. Do we know if the relay's working? Negative. We don't know if the relay's working. So that's where we're gonna go next. This fuse we need to check, fuse 12-6, 30 amp, and then see if this relay is accessible and is it working, and then go from there. Fuse 12-6, it says 30A. Got this thing in the way, so when that VTEC kicks in, you guys know. If you know, you know. All right, the fuses are not numbered like they are in the diagram. I see right headlamp, left headlamp, high, low. I'll see if I find it labeled here. We know it's going to be a 30. Ignition main, high, low main, 30 amp. Okay. I wonder, or oh, it says H/L. Maybe that's headlight. Yeah, because over here on the right and left it says RHL and LHL. So maybe it's just headlamp, low, 30 amp main. That's what we're going to go with. Let's figure out which way this thing goes, if we can. Oh, I see. It's that big honky looking long fuse looking thing here. Looks like an all-in-one. Whole bunch of fuses all in one. I'm not familiar with that. Looks like it bolts in. Real fantastic design there by Honda. I'm just going to kind of glance down through here. Yeah, so it's actually fuse number 12. Is that what it said? Yeah, it just says 12. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fuses built into one. I'm going to see if any of them look like they're blown. They are clear. Kind of difficult to see from this angle, but what I can see does not appear to be blown. I don't know if the, yeah, I can see them on this backside the best I can. They don't appear to be blown. We'll check at the relay. because that'll tell us for sure. So instead of fiddling with that, you know, we're not familiar with it. It looks like it bolts in. I don't know if the lid comes off it here. Anyway, it doesn't appear to. As far as testing purposes, looks real stupid and real expensive. So we're gonna leave that alone. And let's see if we can find this relay, which, let's see, what do we have here? That's a list of relays. There's only just a few of them in the box. And only 2 of them are labeled. One's labeled horn, one labeled snowflake, and the third one is labeled with a fan. The other 3 say see owner's manual. Not super handy there. Let me see if I can find a diagram of this and figure out exactly which relay we need to get after. Show you guys what we're dealing with. This is what other shops will do to your car. What a disaster. So they've got that back relay there all crushed up. These other ones here have been obviously fondled. There's one missing here in this hole, and they've got the terminals all smashed together and went all crazy with that, so that's good. Did a nice job destroying the customer's car. But so it's probably one of those 4 relays. Like I say, that one's smashed. This one's been played with a lot. That one's completely MIA. That one's hotter than a banshee. Well, it burns the old finger. Yeah, well, way to go. Okay, I think I found it. Well, good morning.
Hi.
Is there any papers in the printer for us? And thank you. All right, glasses. We do it nice because we print it twice. Let's see, headlight relay number 6 for reference 6 for terminals. Number 6, it's that little guy. View of front side. Oh, they're tricky. They got some on the bottom, huh? Oh, engine compartment wire harness. Okay, so number 6. So let's take this over here. Let's see, is that our missing one? Is it one of the ones that's smashed? It is the missing relay. So number 6. Number 6, it's the one that's missing. Okay. Our glasses on, what are we supposed to have? It is 4 terminals, 2 of which are power, 1 of which goes to those 2 fuses. And then we have a control wire that comes from that, the MIC-U, M-I-C-U, not M-I-C-K-E-Y. Why? Because we like you. Who misses a net funicello, huh? Let's see. So, yeah, 2 powers, fuse 12. We already checked that fuse, AKA, I mean, we looked at it. Fuse 12-6, and that is fuse number 12 in the fuse box, but it's that big long sucker. Hot at all times, just like my wife. Should have 2 hots, and then 1 wire that should be signaling ground if we use the power probe, you know, because we know that the wires are complete, at least until this point, right? And we can do that. We can actually go to these fuses and power them up individually and make sure that the headlights light up. If we power one of them, both headlights should light up. So let's just try that real quick. Fuse 24, 25, and then see what we're missing here. I guess that's just a way to verify nobody's done some monkey business. Let's see, fuse 24 and 25. They actually are numbered. I may have said that they weren't, but here we are. Let's see, how does this go? That goes like that. And then find out which row of fuses these are. Okay, there's another one of those big honky fuses. And then there's a big battery fuse. Okay, there's a 7.5 and then a 10 and a 10. Okay, so these are our headlamps. So I'm gonna power this up. I'm gonna turn the beeper off here. Okay, the driver's side low beam is lit. The passenger side is not, and that is because it's unplugged. I'm gonna come over here, and as they say in the South, we're gonna plug it up It is plugged up. I'm gonna power up one of these two fuses, and both low beams are on. You'll have to take my word for it, but both of them flash. Shouldn't matter which side of the fuse we go in, here or there. Okay, so both of those flash. That's great. We just verified what we already know, because we just like to do things to do things. I'm gonna go down here in this hole, touch any of these 4 pins. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing. Are we in? Are you in, baby? Yes, I can feel it tickling it. Okay. Huzzah. We have nothing. We have no power of any sort. All right. And I have the headlights on, and I'm not seeing any type of control. You know, I'm not seeing on these 2 wires off to the side here, I'm not seeing any control. You're out of control, man. So that's kind of weird. I kind of half expected if we had no power, at least to have a ground signal from the MIC-U, but perhaps that has set a code. Perhaps it went up in smoke if somebody's been in here, because they have this thing smashed to hell. Even if we find the problem, it's likely going to need a fuse box, because the other shop here has it pretty well destroyed from the looks of it. Let's try this. Let's get a test light here. We're going to hook it to ground. Okay. Anything we touch that has power will light up. I'll show you. Okay. So if we apply power. So what I want to know is, you know, our headlights, is the wiring from the relay to this fuse any good? I don't want to go just applying power to, you know, whichever terminal it is here. I think I know which one it is, but I'm going to apply power to the headlights. So the headlights are on. Now one of these 2 here should light up this test light. That one does not. That one does not. The headlight is on. Okay, let's look at a wiring diagram and figure out why I'm wrong. If it has an open fuse, I think this would just backfeed, because both of the headlights are on, but we have no power here. What's another possibility of something going on? Another possibility would be we've selected the wrong relay, but I don't think so, because now as I look into the box, I told you that they said to check the owner's manual. I do see a headlight symbol and a rear defogger symbol, and that headlight symbol lines up with the one that is missing. So let's grab a diagram here. Let's figure out why what I just did not work. And we may learn something. Now technically it should have worked. We just applied power to this fuse. This one or this one, it's irrelevant which one we powered up. Because both headlights lit. So we know that this whole circuit has power on it. Everything here that's highlighted, on the exception of this. So back in this relay box, we should have had power at that terminal, but we didn't. But we had power coming all the way out to both headlights. Let me highlight the rest of this that is lit up as well, just so we're all on the same page. Okay, so when I apply power to this fuse, disregard this over here on the left, all of this circuit should have power on it. We should be able to tap that anywheres, unless it's broken. We powered this fuse, this one turned on, both headlights turned on, everybody's good, everybody's happy, except we don't have power back here. We just verified that with the test light. Like I say, unless there's some discrepancy in this box, which I kind of doubt it. It just does seem kind of bizarre. Go back on there. Both headlights are turned on. And we should be able to verify that because I'm going to tap the other fuse here. Okay, so I probe this fuse here. I can probe any of these headlight fuses and they turn on and off as I, turn that circuit on. So, which we already knew. I'm just spitting facts. And nothing, and I repeat, nothing is turning on in this fuse box. Well, we've come, we've saw, I think we've identified it. The other problem is, as well, what's the other problem, folks? The other problem is not only can we not backfeed power into this single terminal here, we also have no power on this terminal here, and we have a fuse that appears to be good. And I use that term loosely because we're just basing it off my eyesight, which we know sucks. But it is kind of bizarre. You know, we have no power here, we have no power here, both come from this fuse, and we have no signal wire as well. This blue wire that comes from the MIC-U. The MIC-U, it seems like this whole fuse box is telling us F you. I do see some fancy wiring there at the bottom. I say, if it were me, and it is, I wonder what's under this cover. It's irrelevant, Eric. Don't even look. You don't need to know. Kind of want to, though. If it were me, I would look under this fuse box and see if somebody's been giving her one of these, because something is definitely sus. We need to flip this thing over and see what we see. We need to get the strut brace off. Hopefully the car doesn't buckle in half when we do that. We will not be kicking in the VTEC, so we should be okay. So I have the brace off. I'm gonna pull out the 10 mil there. And let's see. Yeah, baby. Oh boy. Mother friggers. I freaking hate people. I really hate people. Okay, don't hate people. Stop. Stop. Stop it. Okay. Let's put the lid back on this. It's just discouraging. This stuff just pisses me off because I just think like, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I'm always pretty cynical. I think like, oh, if I'm dead and my wife has to go to a shop, you get shit like this everywhere you go. I mean, granted, there's good shops out there, but come on, man. Just because you can't fix something, just send it somewhere else. Don't do this. So they've cut all the wires out of the bottom of the fuse box. We have this, probably an OEM relay, but all right, well, let's figure out what's going on here. It's probably just rust and crust and corrosion, but why? Gosh. I don't know. Why do I think things like that? Well, here's the shenanigans. Got some real classy work here. Okay. Well, it looks like we probably have the factory colors. And let's see. Let's grab the old power probe. Let me turn my battery maintainer on. It is on. I did shut the key off while we pulled this out because I wasn't sure how many sparks we were going to make. Okay, let's turn the key back on. Push the button back on. I don't know what they call it nowadays. We've pushed the button on. The headlights are now in the on position, neither one of which are working. We have our prober. According to the diagram, the pink wire is the one that runs from that big screwed up looking fuse, so that we have a pink wire. I've got the power. Do we have real power? We don't know because we're using a power probe. We're making a lot of bad choices today. We're gonna assume that we do for right now. Let's see, headlights coming out to the other fuses are light blue. It's this double light blue donger right here. I apply power to them and the headlights light up, even though you can't see it. Let's turn this annoying thing off. Power going in, nothing coming out. Oops, did we just blow a fuse? No, we did not. But if I push the power button, both of the low beams are currently on. Do we have control? Okay, so we are missing control. Okay, so this relay actually works. Despite whatever has happened here, it's a friggin' mess. If I come to this control side, we have power on it, which we would expect, but when I ground it, the headlights turn on. So that tells me the relay works and that we either have a really crappy connection here. I'm not seeing the headlights flicker. We have nothing on this light blue wire. Okay, so we have nothing going on here, but if we ground the control side of the relay, you can hear it clicking and the headlights flash on and off. Okay, huzzah! So, everything we wanted to do in the fuse box, we are out here doing. We need to make Rudy to ensure that this is not just a crappy crimp. I don't have a holy poker with me in my hat. What we will do, we should poke this wire just to make sure, because if we have a bad crimp, this can also be masking a problem. Obviously, this needs to be fixed, undoubtedly. Sugar, stand by. Let's get a pokey apparatus here. We're not going to get too fancy. We're just going to utilize a needle that we had. I like to drive them deep into my finger. We could go get an actual wire pokey tool, but we're just going to use a needle. All of this stuff's getting cut out and repaired as proper as we can. Anyhow, once we find the real problem, and here we have voltage in which we can still turn the relay on. Okay, so we have determined everything here is good except this light blue wire, which comes from the underhood fuse relay box and what Honda refers to as the MICU, M-I-C-U. I don't know the acronym. I've heard it. I don't know what it stands for other than body computer. What it really means, I don't know. I imagine we have a code. Let's see if we can talk to this MICU. Now we know who we're talking with, what we've been dealing with. I'm going to kind of visual inspection, make sure we just don't have a broken wire, being that, you know, somebody has obviously had their beaters in there and made a mess out of that. So let's just make sure something didn't get overlooked, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to take a moment here, and I don't mean to get ultra spiritual with you or anything, but I don't know if you believe in divine intervention for whatever reason. I have this incredible gift to find broken wires, and literally just found it in like 30 seconds. I don't know why I've been given this gift, but that's exactly what it seems, because it seems so bizarre that I can literally walk to a harness and be like, oh look, a broken wire, boop. Okay, so that's where we're at. I was literally moving the camera. I was like, well, let me visual inspection. I see the loom. I see the tiniest fleck of what looks like maybe green dust wicking through the loom. Reach down, flick it open my finger. I'm like, oh, there's our blue wire. Still don't see the green. Grab the blue wire, bang, it pops. You guys missed the money shot. I don't know why, but I'm glad that in this profession, if God has given me the ability to snip out broken wires, hallelujah, because it's pretty helpful in this trade. So let's see, I'll show you where I was at, and I'll show you what I was seeing. So I don't know if you can see it, probably not, because it is quite faint. If I look on top of this poly loom here, there is, you can't even see it with this light. There's just a little bit of discolorization. So I literally reached down, it's only held on with one piece of tape. It's gonna be kind of hard to show you guys. Hopefully it's our wire. I think it is, because I shouldn't be frigging with this thing because we have power on it. But I just pulled this thing back. Doesn't look like anybody's touched it. I'm gonna set you guys up. And then I seen this light gauge, dark blue wire. I pulled on it and the dang thing literally broke. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were zoomed in. Well, the wire broke there in the harness. Doesn't appear to have ever been touched or fiddled with. It's actually underneath some tape. I actually got to pull some of the factory tape off in this bracket to get to it. Wow, man. Let's do this now that we know what's up. Well, I think we know what's up. We're gonna unhook the battery because battery's all loose anyways. Basically, we're just following in everybody's footsteps here. But isn't that wild, man? I think it's pretty wild. I think it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, and extremely, extremely helpful. But it happens more often than not, to the point where I'm like, all right, this is getting strange, man. I'm not saying it's in a really convenient spot to fix, but it's just, I don't know. Makes you think a little, I guess we'll say. Okay, the battery's unhooked, we're safe, we can touch stuff, we can short things out. Whoa. You guys have about a 0.0% chance of seeing this broken wire. But yeah, no, this is all factory tape here, man. I'm gonna peel some of this tape off. Yeah, sure as sugar, man. That thing is, I don't see any other wires here that appear to be compromised. Gosh, that is awesome. That is awesome. It's in a really, really bad spot. And it's about a 26 or maybe 28 gauge wire. It's gonna be a little difficult to do what I need to do down here. We're probably gonna end up soldering and heat shrinking this one, given its location. Okay, I've got it out here. Let me show you. I wish I could have shown, I should have shown you what I thought I saw, but I was like, nah, it's probably insignificant because why would a wire be broken there in that harness when everything's all taped, you know, OG. Let me just show you. I almost did the McDonald's theme song. Because we're loving it, that's why. So there's our broken wire. Like I say, a bit of a pain in the hoo-hoo to get to. We're gonna get after that. I'm gonna get us a relay holder. Kind of do that where somebody might have a clue that, hey, we're missing crap out of the box. It's a real shame what they did to that box. Not just cutting it, but the smashing of the other relays. And it just really sucks because this is somebody's car. This girl paid money for it. You know, it's not a piece of crap. But the mechanic who does stuff like that, he's a piece of crap for sure. I just went ahead and cut the relay off. Because, you know, we're going to get rid of all this rigmarole here. And then I just pulled that blue wire up and out of the harness. Like I said, that's a tiny little guy there. Really, really tiny, just a couple strands. And then, as I mentioned, I just did a solder and heat shrink and just put on an extension for us. And then I've got our 2 headlight wires here, our power wire, and we're going to just wire up a fuse, get rid of some of this Mickey Mouse business here, and try to do a little better job if we can. I guess it doesn't really matter which side that runs out. I guess we'll run it out this side so it's away from the air cleaner lid. I went ahead and just bought an accessory relay pigtail here from Napper. I'll give you the part number on it. Bit of an overkill wire gauge wise. In this case, bigger is better. Get that to line back up on the bracket. I have not tested it yet. Hopefully, I wired it up correctly. Everything has been wired 86 and 30 and 87, 85. We should have our power and stuff here now. Let's see. No sense in bolting that down just yet. Let's take and hook up the battery. We'll just temporarily stick that on there. Now we should have our 2 powers. They were full-time power, remember. I'd show you that, but it's kind of a pisser to get down in there and do everything we had to do. So what should we, red and green, I guess, in this case. Yes, we have power on both of those. Fantastic. Blue goes to our headlights, yellow is our trigger. I'm sorry, blue is our trigger, yellow goes to our headlights. Let's just grab a relay. Here's what I got us from Napper. The connector is an Echo Charlie 2.3. Okay, that's just your standard relay connector. And then we have a Alfa Romeo 143 accessory relay. So there's that, it is diode suppressed. All right, I don't think the OEM was. This one is. With a little bit of luck, we'll have headlights. We have nothing now. I didn't hear any fuses blow. Let's take and turn the headlights on. Headlights are in the on position. If all's right in the world, we would have a control wire on here, but we're not going to test it. We're just going to plug in our relay. And we don't have anything. So all is not right in the world. You did it wrong. Power, power. Blue one should be our control. Let's grab something. I know our connections look good, so we're good with that, hopefully. Well, maybe the headlights don't work unless the key's turned on. That could be it as well. Couple options, a couple things could be going on here. I did not turn the key on. I thought the headlights would just turn on. Let's see. So our wire coming from the MICU is reading 0.15 volts. We have some ghost voltage on that. Obviously power, power, and then this is signifying a ground, but that should be our headlights. It is, that is both of our headlights. So let's turn the key on. And let's see if our MICU wire here all of a sudden becomes a ground. Hopefully it does. We'll leave that in there. I'm gonna turn the key on. I just assumed they would work without the key on, but okay, I'm pushing the button. I did not hear a big ground. I didn't hear anything change. That's not good. Gosh, hopefully it didn't, hopefully there's not another broken wire. Wouldn't that really be a pisser, huh? A double broken wire conundrum. Yeah, no headlights, huh? Wow, look at that. So no headlights. However, if we ground this side, why don't we have headlights? That should 100% should work. '86. '85, '86. Do we have a freaking bad relay? A brand new bad relay. Can you imagine? Power. What the world? You've got to be kidding me. Round two. We now have another AR-143. I should have known. When I opened that sucker, it had a little bit of dielectric grease here and a little here, and I'm like, somebody's touched it. Should it be bad? Probably not. Here's one fresh out of the box, no fancy stuff on it. Hey, this one clicks. Hey, the headlights turn on and off. Gosh, I was really starting to feel like a ding dong. Boom. There's marker lights, oops, marker, headlights, high beam, fog lights. And that should be all four. That's all four of them. Woo! Dodged a bullet there, old son. So a situation like this is a little bit tricky. Obviously, this is not the repair. Does it work? Yes. For proof of concept only, yes. Are we going to recommend to the customer to get a new wiring harness, complete harness, fuse box? Yes. Will they sign a repair order stating that they know that this is a temporary repair only and the car should not be driven at night for risk of headlight failure due to a non-OEM system? Yes. Okay. It's called CYA, folks. Cover your hiney. So that's what we'll do. In the meantime, we're just going to take, oh, you know, it probably could have bolted that right down to that hole down. I'm going to take and zip tie this back somewhere's here. Let's find a good spot for it where it's not going to interfere with any other work while they go home and park the car and not drive it and wait for the proper repair. And that's just the world we live in, folks. Today, everybody wants to sue you for everything, you know? So if they're driving down the road and the headlights go out and causes an accident, you don't want to be the guy that bypassed the factory relay. And that's just a matter of fact. So a lot of times I joke about this stuff where, you know, like, oh, disclaimer, disclaimer. In this case, you know, I'm not. Obviously, I'm going to discuss with the customer, tell them that this is, you know, jerry-rigged. We did it to make sure that it worked, that we could pull the car outside. Car definitely should not be driven at nighttime or any time where there is a need to use your headlights. So in the rain, anything like that. And then I'll give them a quote on the fuse box and the entire vehicle harness so it can be repaired in the proper fashion. And then that will get the liability off my back. It sucks the world that we live in, that we have to live in a world like that where, you know, everybody will sue you at the drop of a hat. But if this was my car, well, it's hard to say what I would do. I won't say it out loud, but you know what I would do. You know what you would do. You know what 99% of the people would do. You know, who are just looking to get their car fixed cheap. It's a shame. It's a real shame what the other shop did there. What a mess, man. What a way to destroy a person's car. For what ultimately likely was, I don't know, that repair, this looked old. The way this girl's talking, this was pretty recent. So let me dig this out. This looks like an old repair. I mean, and the reason I say that is because, you know, where they did their twists and stuff, the copper's very tarnished, a lot of oxidation on it. You know, the wires just kind of fall apart. You know, I'm not trying to defend this or anything. This is a really crappy repair. But everything's pretty corroded and stuff. The connectors are pretty corroded, but, you know, they also could have had an old set of corroded, you know, female spades. It's really hard to say, but real shame to see stuff like that. You know, it does a real disservice to the customer. But I'm going to take and button some stuff up here. I'm going to lift this back up. I see I forgot to tape that cover back over that harness. So I'm going to get that taped up proper. And then I'm going to label this, you know, headlight relay. I don't know why, but I'm going to. That way there, if she makes some choice on her own and something ever happens in the future, at least somebody knows what that relay is. That's it, folks. Simple as that. Pretty easy diagnosis, pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry. And it's just a matter, you know, even on something like this, simple headlight circuit, this is nothing crazy. It's just a, you know, a relay. It turns on and off. What turns it on and off? You know, we elected to start at the headlights. It was unplugged anyways. We need to plug it in and work the system backwards. And that's, you know, looking back, I always like to look back and, you know, in hindsight and see, what would I have done different? Well, that's exactly where I would have started. I would have started at the source, you know. Are the bulbs good? You know, simple as that. And then, what am I missing? It takes 2 wires to make a bulb work with DC currents. We need a power and we need a ground. Which one are we missing? And then from there, we did a couple other simple tests. And, oh, okay, well, this circuit's intact, and it's obviously intact back to the fuses. You know, we did that. And then we got a wiring diagram. So I'm still sticking to my guns, and I would have done this exactly how I did it at this point. A lot of folks will argue, oh, I would have checked the fuse first. I would have checked the relay. You'll really get down a rabbit trail. Yeah, you'll end up where I was eventually, But doing what we did, we knew a lot of stuff before we even printed that diagram. And then once we got the diagram, we were able to look, oh, okay, well, this fuse is good, this fuse is good, these wires are good. Eliminated the entire front half of the circuit in about 3 minutes with a couple simple checks just at the headlight connector, okay? One thing I would caution you, if you are using the power probe, just like Led Zeppelin gets the lead out, these things will get the smoke out. Do not go putting power down anything without really knowing how it works or having a really good understanding. One click of the button and all your hopes and dreams right there. So be cautious of that. And trust your data. That's the other thing I would say. Just trust your data. And I know this was super simple, really, really simple. Anybody could have figured that out and fixed it. But just trust your data. I've seen guys who are smart. And for example, I was just at a shop the other day, won't mention a shop or anything, I had a truck, it was a no start, helped the guy through it, did some tests, here's what you need, but it was a $2,800 module. Okay, he didn't want to pull the trigger, he's like, no, that can't be it, really was hesitant, but I showed him. And then I also said, if I'm wrong, I will buy it. And of course I was right. I don't want to say of course, that's really conceited. I was correct in that situation, but it's because I trusted the data. We did some tests. We got power, we got grounds, we got comms. We had no control to any of the injectors. All of the injectors tested perfectly. It is what it is. I don't know what's inside the magic box that controls them. Perhaps it could have been sent out and got fixed. Nobody repaired these, but long story short, we trusted the data. There was nothing else wrong with the vehicle. It 100% had to be this module. So it got fixed, the truck fired up, everybody's happy. Trust your data, even when it's something like this. What are we missing? We have power on both sides of our relay. We have grounds, We can do a couple very quick checks and eliminate it very quickly, in which case we did. And then we're very fortunate to just, find the broken wire. Why I have that ability, I don't know. I'll take that special talent though, any day, especially working on this where we do, 3 to 4 broken wires a week. It's really nice to be able to be like, oh, look, another broken wire. I like it. I'm happy about it. So why don't you guys go get happy in that comment section. Questions, comments, Insta, Facebook, you know where we're at. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.